All right, y'all. So I'm gonna share. I was reading Jeremiah chapter 18 about the potter's house, and something just it's been dwelling in my mind. So I wanted to share this with you guys real quick. Anybody who hear this, uh, Jeremiah is told by God to go down to the potter's house, and when he goes there, I'm just gonna use today's language, today's term. He sees a potter sitting at the wheel, molding a vessel. And it said that the vessel was marred in the potter's hand. Marred means damaged or ruined or tarnished, having some kind of blemish. So the clay, just imagine the clay that he's using is marred, is damaged. And it says that the potter, he didn't throw away, it doesn't say he threw away the clay. He said he reshaped it, remolded it. I'm going to say it again. Jeremiah saw the potter with the clay, and the vessel that he had was marred, meaning damaged or ruined, and the potter reshaped the vessel. He reshaped it, remolded it. And what stood out to me, it didn't say that, and again, it's an analogy, obviously it's a parable that speaks to a better, a moral principle or a truth. And what's a few things jumped out at me, but what I wanted to talk about, share with you guys, is one, he didn't throw it away. It didn't say that the potter had the vessel in his hand and he saw that it was damaged, so he threw it away and got some new clay to make another vessel. It didn't say that. It said he reshaped it. He remolded it. He remolded, reshaped it to make another vessel. That's what it says. And that's verbatim. Reshaped, remolded to make another vessel. Now again, that's a parable or a metaphor or an analogy. Better yet, that's an analogy. So that analogy is analogous of me, personally speaking. You got to personalize it. So it's analogous of me personally. So how do I apply that? What does that mean? It means no matter how damaged I am, provided I'm in my God, that I have a relationship with God, it doesn't matter how damaged I might be, right? It doesn't matter what trauma I've been through. It doesn't matter how much I've been written off like a bad tax loss, right? It doesn't matter how much I've been written off like a tax write-off. It doesn't matter how much I've been discarded like distressed assets on a company's balance sheet. It doesn't matter how many times you've been thrown to the side, literally thrown to the trash, thrown to the garbage. It doesn't matter how many times somebody gave up on you. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you ain't ish. It doesn't matter. None of it matters how damaged you are, how broken you are, how ignorant, stupid, dumb you might think you are. The bottom line is, it says this in the book of Jeremiah chapter 18. When the potter saw that the clay was marred, and again, marred means damaged, broken, flawed. When he saw that it was flawed, he reshaped it, remolded, made another vessel. That means that you can reinvent yourself. There's a term that says don't reinvent the wheel, and that's a good term. It just means if something is working, you don't need to fix it. Let it keep, the wheel keep spinning. But you can reinvent the wheel of yourself. If the wheel is analogous of you, you can reinvent yourself no matter your background. Doesn't matter. This is why it doesn't matter if you're born into poverty. It doesn't matter if you're born into wealth. It doesn't matter if you're born into resources or lack of resources. It really does not matter. Now, there's an overwhelming voice that's even going on in my head right now as I'm speaking that will say it does matter. Redlining is a real thing. You can't discredit or discount redlining, right? You can't discount policies put in place to keep you, in subjection or regulated, right? You can't discredit that. You can't discount or discredit or bury your head in the sand to the fact that, politics does play a role in your economics, right? You can't discredit these things. I could hear that in my head, and I could hear the voice of that. I could hear so many people saying that. But I dare to say this: I would rather listen to God's word than to what people say. Because God's word says the potter now the potter represents God, the vessel represents you and I, and we're in God's hands. And no matter how damaged we are, God can remold you. God can reshape you. Now I'm about to tell you something that's even more insightful. God is not some external outside of you entity. God is within you. God is the power that animates you. So when you understand your relationship with God, not some distant God, but a God that is near, in, with you, in whom you live, move, and have your entire existence, then you know how to take the reign of God, meaning you control the power of God that is in you. When you have that understanding of the relationship, if you don't understand the relationship between you and God, if you think God is outside of you somewhere, then you're constantly going to be looking outside and you're lost, right? But when you understand God is inside of you, then you start to go inside of you, activate, germinate, stimulate the power of God within you, and now that same God within you is going to remold you. So in a sense, you're going to remold yourself. You're going to reshape yourself. You're going to remake yourself, because the God within you that you have activated, right? Because God is just dormant. God is not a person. God is not a man, right? God is power. God is the power that keeps you going. God is literally the energy that makes you get up, breathe, and you understand? Because the Bible says in him we live, we move, and we have our very existence. That's in the book of Acts. So God is it's the power that animates your life, that animates all life. There's no separation between you and God. When you understand it, then you can take the reins, because God didn't, leave us down here without instructions on how to operate and function. So when you can take the rein now, you can remold yourself. You can remake yourself. No matter how broken you are, no matter how many people turned away or turned their back, betrayal is a painful thing. No matter how betrayed, no matter drugs, you could have been addicted. You could have been molested as a child. You could have been raped. You could have been sodomized. The power of God within you, you can take that power and work with that power, just like he worked, the potter worked with the clay. He didn't throw you away. He remade. So don't throw yourself away. You don't need to throw yourself away. You don't need to go sit somewhere and feel like you're a nobody, because God takes a nobody and makes the nobody into a somebody, right? So he remade, he remolded, he reshaped. Something else I want to drop on you. So what this means is this: when you go within yourself, you can rewrite your story. Now, I believe in destiny. I do believe in destiny, but I also believe that destiny is the result of the choices you make. That your destiny, therefore, is in your hands, because destiny is only the results. Destiny is just the word destiny. You have it in it. It's where you're destined to be. That's why the word destiny means where you're destined to be. And where you're destined to be is based off the choices you make. Therefore, you control your destiny, right? So destiny, destined to be, destination, it's no coincidence. They all sound the exact same, right? So your destination is your destiny, where you're destined to be, and that's based off your choices that you make. Therefore, you have control of your destination, destiny, and so on and so forth. So it's so important that you understand you can rewrite your story. Now, here's the thing. Your script has already been written for you before you even came into the world. What I mean by that is, think about it. When I had my daughter, I went out and bought the color. I decorated the room for her, the color that I wanted for her. She didn't have a choice. Scripted. See what I mean? That was scripted. The color of her room. Scripted. Right? The kind of bed, I bought her a princess kind of pink bed. Type of bed she's going to sleep in. Scripted. Right? I'm giving you something fundamental to get to paint a bigger truth. Stay with me. The kind of clothes she's gonna wear. Scripted. So I'm scripting her life before she even gets here. She's 7 or 8 months in the womb. She's not even here yet. Right? We're having baby showers. All kind of gifts. This is what she's gonna play with. Toys. Everything is being lined up for her before she even gets here. That's an analogy to tell you how our lives are. Like, your life is scripted. It's already scripted. Everything for you is already scripted. It's up to you to understand this and to rewrite, according to Jeremiah 18, your script. And here's the thing. Here's the interesting. Most of our scripts, unfortunately, my daughter's script, when I was scripting her room and the baby shower and everything, those, her college 529 plan that I set up for her, those were good. As the writer and director of her script, because I'm her dad, I wrote a good script for her. But unfortunately, society doesn't have a good script written for none of us. So your script is written for you to lose. Again, go research redlining, right? That's why you can't live in certain neighborhoods, because you don't get the same mortgage rate as someone else who has basically the same qualifications. That's just, I mean, there'll be variations, but generally speaking, you know, same kind of on par, so to speak, in terms of income, and should therefore qualify for the same kind of rates. But your rates are going to be high because of skin color, brown, white, black, whatever. So redlining, right? Food prices, inflation, all that stuff. So scripted. Your life has been scripted. The politics, scripted. Who you should vote for, scripted. Who you should not vote for, scripted. Where you should live, where you shouldn't live. What kind of house you're going to have, what kind of job, what kind of career you're going to get into, scripted. It's all scripted. But it's scripted not for you to be the winner. It's scripted for you to be, at worst, the loser. At best, mediocre. I'm going to say that again. At worst, it's scripted for you to lose, to go to jail, to die before your time. And yes, you can die before your time. Read the book of Ecclesiastes. Why shalt thou die before thy time? That's exactly what Solomon says. Why should you die before your time? And the context is he's saying, be not overly wicked. In other words, we're already sinners. Don't add more sin to yourself. We're already on our path to, the minute you die, your death clock is already ticking. Don't add alcohol to speed up your death clock. Don't add cigarettes to speed up your death clock. Don't add substance abuse, whatever, to speed up your death clock. Why die before your time? So you can die before your time. Based off, again, choices, lifestyle, decisions we make. So everything is scripted. Getting back on track. Everything is scripted for you. It's already written. But it's scripted for you to, at worst, die before your time. At best, live a mediocre laborer. And when I say laborer, I mean the system needs laborers. Every system needs laborers. I remember watching the cartoon Ants, and it, you know, so I watched that cartoon. It's old. I think it's like either late 1990s or early 2000. And you had the worker ants, and you had the kick, you know, like the hierarchy. But there's a part where it's like he yells out, "We can't get rid of all the worker ants. Who's going to do the work?" It's kind of like right now we're going over politics and immigration. You can't get rid of all the immigrants. Who's going to do the work? And don't say they take your jobs, because there's farmers. I saw an interview where farmers like, I try to hire Americans. I try to hire those who are homogenous. Homogenous meaning of the same nativity, right? We're all American. I try to hire my own American. They don't want the jobs, so I got to get the immigrants. They was interviewing him because, you know, with what's going on with the deportation and everything. So you can't get rid of all the worker ants. You can't get rid of all the migrants, because who's going to do the work? Same thing. Your script is written for you to be laborers, because they need a system, need people to do the heavy lifting. The elites, the hierarchy, they're not doing it, right? The oligarchs, the bourgeoisies, they're not going to do that. They're royal. They're royalty. So they need those who are subjects or subservients or peasants, if you want to say that, or again, scripted to be mediocre. You get just enough to stay alive, take maybe a vacation once a year, if that. That's your script. But Jeremiah 18 showed me something.